What's good, fam? Gamer Dad's back in the house, as he normally is. Thank you for the views on my last video. I didn't think it was going to get as many views as it did, especially considering the content of it. Full disclosure, I was, just so you know, I really was out of my mind that night. But I had a good time. I really did. I had a blast. There was nothing bad about anything that happened, man. I just had fun. It was just fun. I appreciate that a lot of my longtime subscribers tuned in, seen what I had to say. I hope that you agreed with me on my view on it, because that was an emotional roller coaster of a podcast. Like, that was something else, man. David Cho he's a special kind of human being. He really is. I can't state enough just how special he is. He's like Stephen Yun said. He's like, David Cho's that one of them guys that if you want to do something, you got a project, he just push a button, make it fucking happen, because he's that guy. He doesn't worry about money. He's not greedy. He's not that kind of person that like gives a shit whether or not his stuff gets sold for money or whether it just gets given away. Like, he doesn't care. As long as his art is out there for people to see, that's all he cares. He's an interesting fella. And to see him put Bobby on a pedestal, the way he did, and kind of just lift him up, emotionally and physically. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It was beautiful. I appreciate those of you who joined me in that, for being there. Today we got something different, man. We got one of my favorite people ever, Ben Shapiro, interviewing Tom Macdonald. I never thought I'd ever see this. This is something that it's blown. I'm mind blown that I'm about to watch this. It's not a long one. It's 9-10 minutes. That's a good video. I'm excited for it. I hope you guys stay tuned for it and join me in this adventure here, because this is gonna be something crazy, dude. Like, I never thought that I'd ever see Ben Shapiro interviewing somebody like Tom Macdonald. I wish he was there in person with him. I wish that Joe Rogan would have him on. I wish Joe Rogan would have Ryan Upchurch on. Instead, he chose Luke Combs. Joe, you're better than that. I love you, Joe. I do, but you're better than that. And Luke Combs, he's not the one, man. He ain't the one. You gotta fix that shit, dude. Get Upchurch on your channel. Get Upchurch on your show, because having Luke Combs on there, it wasn't. I didn't like it. I think it was a joke, but I mean, that's my opinion. It is what it is. If you do like him and you're a fan of mine too, that's fine, dude. I don't dislike people who like Luke Combs. I just don't like Luke Combs. That being said, we're gonna get into this, but before we do, you know the deal. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, drop a comment in the box down below so I know that you're interacting with me, and tell me what you think. Without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, joining us on the line is Tom Macdonald. You've seen his videos. You've heard his songs. He says what most Americans think without fear. He doesn't censor himself. He has a brand new music video called Dirty Money. It was just released on Friday. It already has like 3 million views on YouTube. Tom, thanks for joining the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about, how your music career originally happened, because it's very rare to spot anybody remotely near the music industry who does not simply follow the left-wing line on pretty much all the issues. But you very vocally do not. So How'd you get where you are?
Well, I think the key to everything has been I'm totally independent. I have no ties to the music industry whatsoever. I've sort of created my own little ecosystem outside of the music industry. Um, I produce all of my music. I write all my songs. My girlfriend shoots all my videos.
And so this is my opinion on what he does. So everybody's like, "Oh, he started a record label," and prop up all these other artists too. Well, you know, maybe one day he will. Maybe one day he'll create that record label that pays the people the money that they earned instead of just a portion of it, a small portion of it. You know, maybe one day he will, but right now he's working on his own stuff. He ain't got time to start no record label. Um, that being said, starting a record label would almost be like, it'd be the opposite of what he stands for, is being independent. Like, why would you want to start a record label for people to sign up to you when you preach independence? It's just not his thing. I think that he keeps doing what he's doing until the day he dies. Period. Don't start a record label. You don't need to. You have no reason to. You got what you, and how professional he acts. Like, he acts so professional. He is such a businessman now. He is so business oriented. He is like very, very dedicated to his craft and to what he does. And you see it in his videos, you see it in his music. And if you don't like Tom Macdonald, just whatever. I don't care if you don't like him, dude. If you can't recognize talent when it's there, if you can't recognize dedication when it's there, then maybe you don't belong on this channel. I don't know. I'm not trying to steer any of you away from being a subscriber of mine, but if you don't like him, it's weird because he's a good dude. Let's get back into this. You need to hear me talk.
Distribute my music independently. There is no affiliation with any record label, manager, PR team, marketing, publicist, distro, nothing. So it's just us. And I've been doing it for about 10 years. And just like you said, man, I'm making music about the things that I think people are afraid to talk about.
That's amazing. I mean, the response has been absolutely incredible. You can see it from the number of views on all of your music videos. So how do you go about writing a song? Both musically and then also in terms of the lyrics. Which do you do first? You do the music first, the lyrics first, and where are you getting sort of the material from?
The fact that Ben even thought to ask a question like that, like, he's not the square everybody thinks he is. He's not this square that just like fucking that hates everything that doesn't align with his personal beliefs. That's absolutely not true. He has his own personal beliefs that he follows, and he believes that if you want to do the same thing he's doing, that you need to follow the same beliefs. But if you don't, you live your own life and you live it happily. He doesn't want to get in your way. He doesn't he doesn't care. He's a special kind of guy like that, man. He really doesn't care. Like, he has his own opinions, but at the same time, those are his personal opinions. As far as politically and legally, he thinks that the government shouldn't be involved in any of it. Like, and that's one of my favorite things about him, because he really does show that he cares about humanity as a whole.
It's always a different process. Since I make all of my own beats, like, sometimes I come into the studio with no concept, with no direction, and just sort of create freely, and it just comes about naturally. But like, you know, like a lot of people out there, I think we're just sort of bombarded with like information these days, whether it's the news or the newspaper or on the internet or on social media. It's just like this constant bombardment of headlines and stuff happening in the world. So I'm just taking all of this information in and digesting it as best as I can. And, you know, sometimes regurgitating it back out. And
one thing I want to bring up is a lot of people, like, they're like, oh my God, here we go, another political song. He's doing another political song. Oh my God, another anti-woke song, or another mega song, and he's not a mega rapper. I'm sorry, dude. He said Trump in 3 of his songs, and one of the times it was a negative connotation. But like, he's not that guy. He's just a human being who makes music and wants to get it out to the world. And if you were to buy his albums, and that is the only way that you're going to hear the music that isn't political and isn't controversial, like his real rap music, his awesome rap music that he makes, he's got albums full of them, but you need to buy physical copies to listen to them. And that's one of my favorite things about him, dude. Like, he doesn't follow the mainstream way of doing things. He's like, no, I'm not putting my whole album on iTunes. I'll put a single on there, maybe a couple singles, ones that came out as videos. But other than that, it's if you want it, buy my album. That's dedication to your craft, man. Dude, that could have completely backfired on him, and he could have not had any fans at all, and never got anybody to buy his music. That's not what happened. His dedication paid off, and it's crazy to see him thriving the way he is. Like, he really is thriving. In that Dirty Money video, I haven't even reacted to it yet, dude. I have not even reacted to it. I haven't listened to it, and I'm planning on it, but this was more important to me. This right here, because there's so much Tom Macdonald hate going around on the internet right now that it makes me want to fucking vomit into a bag and throw it in their face. Like, I fucking, dude, this hatred that you're throwing around towards Tom Macdonald and other white rappers, like, it's exactly the same thing that we are saying shouldn't happen. Like, quit being discriminatory, quit discriminating against other people, and don't be so judgmental towards other people. But yet, if you're a rapper and you have a different point of view than everybody else, then it's okay. It's okay. You can talk shit and be as mean as you want, as long as it's something that doesn't align with what you believe in. Then we can go ahead and talk as much shit as we want, which is so backwards to me. It just doesn't make any sense.
Into songs of my thoughts and feelings about what's going on in the world today. So yeah, I think it's pretty hard, like, to not feel some type of way about all the craziness sort of taking place these days.
So why don't you tell me about sort of the origins of Dirty Money? It just came out on Friday, and as I say, it's racking up millions of views almost immediately. Where did that one come from?
I've always just been sort of interested in politics and sort of the inner workings of things. And, I'm not like a political scientist. I'm not super well versed in a lot of the stuff that's going on. But I think where I can connect with people is that I'm just like a regular person, and I'm getting all the same information that all the other regular people are. I'm just fortunate enough to have a platform and have the skill to make music, and it's just a great forum for me.
Tom, don't sell yourself short, please. Yes, you have the benefit of having a platform to put it out on and having the talent, but you have creativity. You have amazing creativity. Like, the things that you do for your videos, the work that you guys put in, like building entire, like, basically movie sets in your backyard or in your bedroom to make a video, and it turns out to be this banger that gets millions and millions of views. Whether you like it or you hate it, you can't deny that you have so much creativity in you. You need to address that, man. Like, that's very important, because you give people like me hope. You also make me feel like it's possible to become something greater. And I'm happy in my life. I really am. I'm not a artist. I'm not a rap artist. I can't write music. I can sing, I can rap, but I can't write music. I just can't. I've tried. I have written a few songs that did turn out okay, but I mean they just don't come out the way. I mean, like I couldn't sit there and write 20 songs for an album in a year and then have it all come out. Like I can't do that. It's not in my wheelhouse. I'm not talented that way. But I do strive to learn new things. That's my favorite part of being a human being, is that learning new things is so much fun. Like there's two different kinds of people. There's the kind of person, I think Jordan Peterson said it, or maybe who I don't know who said it, but there's two different types of people. So you got the type of person where you're at a job and they're like, we need you to go do this job right here. And that person goes, well, that's not my job description, so I'm not going to do it. And then you got the other person that you hand them this and they say, you need to go do this. And you're like, I don't know how to do that. I get to learn that? Awesome, man. I get to learn something new. That's me. Like, I love learning new things. Editing, making videos, beat making. I like to make beats. I am blessed in a way that I have a job that allows me to learn all these new trades.
To sort of like speak the things that I'm thinking. So when I watch the news or I read the paper or I read articles online, I just have a great venue to sort of just speak my mind. So, and I do that from like a regular person's perspective, which is why I think I connect with people like so well.
So,
and Dirty.
Sorry, go ahead.
I connect with people like so well.
So,
and Dirty.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, dirty money is just a reflection of like a lot of the things going on right now, and I think especially in America, speaking of money, like financially and economically, I think that we're in a real hard place right now. So I wrote this song 6 months ago. It just happened to be the right time for it now.
So let's talk about kind of how your music career got started, because we were talking right before we got on the line about the fact that you used to work construction. So how did you get to where you are right now? Like, when did you first take up music? How did this happen?
Well, I was a professional wrestler for many years, like the WWE style stuff, and that sort of chapter of my life came to a close. Just
the fact that he was a legit, like, he never did WWE or WWF or WCW, but he did wrestling in Canada. I don't know if he did any in America, in the United States. I don't know if he did any in the United States, but he definitely did wrestling, and he's no wimp. Like, he's as solid as a rock, man. Like, and especially now that he's healthy, he's sober, working out, taking care of himself. Like, he's even more solid, dude. I bet that motherfucker could go in to a ring and like do some damage. Like, I mean, I know it's all scripted and whatnot, but you can't tell me that the shit that they do don't hurt. And I think that, like, I mean, if he wanted to, he could go right back to it. Especially now that he's as healthy as he is. Like, he is levels above some people, the way he takes care of himself. He chose the sober path and stuck to it.
Just like there's a lot of internal politics in wrestling and accumulated injuries, so I had to get out of that business. And I'd always been sort of writing poetry and writing rock songs. Didn't have the voice. It wasn't a Robert Plant, Joe Cocker vocalist. But I still needed an outlet, and I had been writing music. So rap and hip hop just was sort of the natural direction for somebody that didn't have a big rock star frontman voice. So got into rap and hip hop, made the exact same music as everybody else for many years, probably 6 or 7 years. Everything was about cars and clothes and money and girls and partying and all that stuff. And I was emulating a lot of like what I was seeing, the biggest.
And who doesn't? He was emulating, like, his Eminem, fucking, even go back as far as like Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg. Just, there's so many influences. The influences that he had, and being an addict the way he was, he thought it was cool to emulate that lifestyle and be like, yeah, man, I'm getting fucked up every night and I'm drinking and smoking weed and doing drugs and taking pills and having fun and fucking cars and women and blah, 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 blah. Don't you think that's overplayed? Don't you think that's overdone? Don't you think that is yesterday's news? Like, I think nowadays it is so much more about being your own person and being healthy, taking care of yourself, and caring about what you bring to the table. And I see that in the kids nowadays. Like, kids are so much smarter than we were. Like, smoking isn't cool anymore, which is beautiful to me. It's a beautiful fucking thing that smoking isn't a cool thing to do anymore. Smoking cigarettes, they're like, you smoke cigarettes? That's cool. I think that's awesome.
Artists of the time doing, and not only emulating it in my music, but emulating it in my real life, which led me down a super destructive path, which sort of culminated with like a little bit of a bout with alcoholism, which sort of led to a little bit of a mental breakdown. And that took me like 9 months to close to a year to rehab myself from that. So now I'm completely sober, and I sort of coming out of that dark place, it gave me an opportunity to sort of examine what do I care about, and what do I want to make in my music, and who do I want to talk to with my music. And I just sort of made the decision, like, I don't want to make music that's going to damage other people like the music I was listening to damaged me. So now I'm here, sober as a judge, making what the world has deemed to be super controversial music, but it's just stuff that I truly care about.
So how'd you get into American politics?
Oh my god, that is the best way I've heard it described.
Sober as a judge, making what the world has deemed to be super controversial music, but it's just stuff that I truly care about.
So how'd you get into American politics in the first place?
And the greatest thing about him is that he's not judgmental. Like, if you're an addict and you're a fan of his, he's not gonna look down on you for being who you are. Like, he's gonna be like, been there, done that, bro. I understand. Like, it's crazy. Like, he is so down to earth and so realistic as a rapper. Like, he doesn't want, the money's not an issue for him. He doesn't care about the money as much as he does reaching people. Kind of like NF. Like, he cares more about reaching people and touching people in a way that might improve their life, or at least improve their day, at the very least.
So you're from Canada, right? You're from our northern neighbor?
Yeah.
So what got you into American politics?
Well, I think that the whole world is sort of into American politics from childhood. Even like growing up in Canada, like my dad and my grandfather were always like really into politics. So I'd sit around and watch TV with them and listen to them talking. And it's really crazy. Like, even back then when I was a kid, they were talking about China and sort of warning me about, hey man, China's going to be a big deal one day. You need to pay attention to this stuff. And here we are today. And it's just like a little bit of a deja vu. But so you kind of absorb a lot of that just coming up in Canada. American politics are sort of spotlighted globally, I think. And then moving to America like 8 or 9 years ago now, it was a little bit of a culture shock. And I think that there's a lot of people here that get so wrapped up in it all the time, and they're in it from birth, that I think that I had a little bit of a unique perspective, because I think sometimes it's that old saying, you can't see the forest through the trees. And I think that's where a lot of people.
And that's another thing that like he's saying, like, he didn't come from the same background as some of the rappers. He was never a battle rapper. He never got into battle rapping, and that was one of Adam Calhoun's first beefs with him. Like, and then they became friends because he realized that this guy was actually a good dude and he meant well. I describe him as divisive in a way. Very divisive.
It's that old saying, you can't see the forest through the trees. And I think that's where a lot of people are at within the country right now. A little bit of a unique perspective, because I think sometimes it's that old saying, you can't see the.
And when Adam, like, he kind of like he was like, I just can't respect a rapper who was never a battle rapper. Like, he didn't go through the struggles I went through to become a rapper. Like, you didn't earn that respect. You didn't earn the right to call yourself a rapper by being a battle rapper and earning your place in that culture. That being said, Tom found his own way into the culture, and love him or hate him, you can't deny that he makes bangers, dude. Like, if you don't like his music, then that's just because you don't understand it, and that's okay. That's just fine. You don't have to understand it. You can go listen to something that you enjoy. You don't have to listen to what I listen to. You don't have to listen to what your neighbor listens to. You can listen to whatever the hell you want, man. I like the baby, or Lil Baby. I like Lil Baby. I think he's a dope ass rapper. I think he's super talented. I think that he has so much potential. And the fact that he's sober, he well, sober from lean. He doesn't do lean no more. He takes care of himself. He doesn't talk about it in his rap anymore. And he doesn't say the N word because he knows that he's got a lot of white fans. So he wants them to be able to sing along with the song and not have to say that, which is such a weird way of making music. I never thought that I'd see somebody doing something like that.
The forest through the trees. And I think that's where a lot of people are at within the country right now. They're just so surrounded by this stuff and have been for so long that it's hard for them to sort of like differentiate and focus on different things. So coming in from an outsider's perspective 8-9 years ago, I kind of got to stand back and look at everything and say, holy cow, this is wild. What's taking place here? And it's only got crazier over the last 9 years. So.
Well, I was very flattered that Facts Don't Care About Your Feelings does actually show up in one of your big songs, Fake Woke. I don't know.
Hey, man, I've been called the Ben Shapiro of rap many times.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, I've been called the Ben Shapiro of rap because obviously I had my amazing recording of WAP, the Cardi B hit, which I gotta say, my version slaps significantly harder than the Cardi B version.
Yo, slap significantly harder. Awesome.
Well, I mean, there have been calls. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. There have been calls for us to collaborate, and I know that it would probably be degrading your art for us to do that. But I will say that my rap, I feel it's an untapped field for me.
Yeah.
It's something that I've always wanted to. It's sort of like my feminine identity as a Black lesbian woman. It's sort of like an area that I feel is just absolutely. I've never touched it. I've never really gone like. I'm a classically trained violinist since the age of 5, and so Mozart and Beethoven and Bach and Brahms are really more my style. But I feel like there's a part of me that I just haven't accessed, and so maybe I don't know if the crowd wants it, then perhaps I'll be forced to solicit your help in joining the rap industry. Is it called? I don't even know what it's called. R&B.
Hey, Ben, if there is untapped potential here, if there's a fire burning somewhere deep inside your soul that's making you want to spit some super hot bars with me, I'm down. Let's make it happen.
Well,
yes,
I really appreciate the invitation. I'm sure nothing would horrify you more, but perhaps we will make that happen sometime in the future to the consternation of both my audience and your own. Tom Macdonald, you should go check out his brand new music video, Dirty Money. It's out on YouTube right now. Tom, really appreciate the time, and congratulations.
It was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
All righty, guys. The rest of the show is continuing right now. You're not going to want to miss it.
Ben Shapiro, about you, man. I appreciate you for doing this. You maybe brought light to a dark situation because Tom doesn't get a lot of recognition that he deserves. He gets memed and teased and tortured by other rappers and social media. because he doesn't conform to the norm. The fact that you did this was absolutely amazing. And if you guys make a rap song together, I will react to it, and it will be it will be in my playlist in my car on the regular, man. I promise you that. Ben Shapiro, Tom Macdonald, I love you both so much. This was a great video. I love you guys' interview. You guys really, really, really did a lot in that 10 minutes. That was a lot. You guys did a lot there. Love you guys. I love you, YouTube. I love my fans. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Gamer Daz out.